Canadians ridiculed their minister after threats against Russia. CBC readers ridiculed Canadian Defense Minister Anand's threat to impose sanctions in Russia. The Canadian television channel CBC published an article devoted to the warnings of the Minister of Defense of the country, Anita Anand, against Russia. As the minister previously said during her visit to Kiev, Russia can choose between negotiating to avoid an escalation in Ukraine, harsh sanction otherwise. The post elicited an active response from readers in these comments. The problem with these so-called leaders is that they are unable to solve domestic problems, and Ukraine for them is just a crutch of falling rating, user said Peter James Chen. And why did we send our Secretary of Defense to Ukraine with if the Russians were about to attack her? Shouldn't she hiding with our Prime Minister Justin, who charged his chains of residential to protest? Trudeau asked Mark Deckard. Didn't Anand forget our famous potato guns? Joked Benjamin Picard. As soon as Canadians themselves gain freedom, we will share it with Ukraine, wrote William Fowler. I haven't laughed like that in a long time. Bob Fox shared his impressions. And yesterday, on CBC, said that since Canada is for Ukraine, Russia is inflating the protest of truckers in realization. They said so, yeah, Jonathan's Jamie said. Relations between Russia and the West have become even more tense in recent months. Western countries accuse Moscow of preparing an invasion of Ukraine, and against this background are strengthening in their presence of Eastern Europe and threatening to tighten sanctions. Russia rejects all claims and recalls that Kiev does not comply with the Minsk agreements. The armed forces of Ukraine have concentrated half of the army's personnel near the line of contact, are firing at militias from prohibited weapons. Moscow has repeatedly pointed out that the purpose of informing about aggression is to build up a foreign group near the borders of Russia. In addition, the Kremlin and the Foreign Ministry explained that the main reason for the escalation in Ukraine is the action of the United States and the NATO, which send military instructions, weapons, and equipment there, increase the number of exercises, thereby pushing Kiev towards military adventures. On Saturday, large-scale actions against coronavirus restrictions began in Ottawa, initiated by Canadian truckers. The latter demanded that the authorities lift all restrictions related to the pandemic and vaccination of the population, which, according to them, are contrary to the country's constitution.